There we go. What's
There
happening?
we go, man. We good.
I was gonna figure it out some type of way. Goddamn
What's going on, Big Perk, man? I appreciate you jumping on with us over here at Clutch Points, bro.
Already, I heard y'all talking some real, man. I had to jump in this conversation.
Hey, yeah, man, and we talking the real, man, and now we got the realest in here with us. How you feeling and how you liking this mini documentary we got going on with The Last Dance?
Man, I think it's classic. You know, far as me being an 80s baby, growing up in 84, you know, and watching this whole, you know, Bulls dynasty, you know, I've been waiting on this content behind the scenes shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And behind the scenes type action, man. Hear MJ talking about, you know what I'm saying, how they went about things, like this unseen footage, man, this is gold. But you learn a lot. Like today, I had a couple takeaways from the day. One, I had to go ahead and give Phil Jackson his flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my opinion, tonight, this stamp for me that he's the greatest NBA coach. He's the greatest of all time. And here's why. When you look at Phil, not only did, you know, he wasn't scared to challenge Jordan and, you know, doing that scene where he told Jordan, hey, look, Paxson is open. You need to pass him the ball. Like, for him to go at MJ like that was like, man, hold up, this is real right now. And then, you know, on top of that, Phil Jackson won with guys that, like the great Greg Popovich, would have released from the team. Dennis Rodman, Ron Artest, Lamar Odom. Phil understood these guys. He brought them in and won with them. Like they would keep parts to the success. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at it again, you like, hold on. Phil got Jordan and Pippen to welcome Dennis Rodman, a rival with the Pistons, with open arms. Like, and embrace him with open arms and went there and won with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's key. Not only that, he's the only coach that ever three-peated. Like, he three-peated 3 times. Think about that. Think about that. And then, even when you say, okay, he had Kobe and Shaq had differences. He had to control that. Like, and I'm looking at it today, it's stamped that Phil Jackson is the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nah, and I'm with you. And I'm one of them guys that, man, I always thought, you know, up until like watching this documentary, I always kind of had a feeling. I was like, man, I think they give Phil a little too much credit. He always had, you know, I was one of them. But when you see all the dysfunction and you know, Rodman asking for a vacation, you know, during seeing him allowing it, you know, Popovich would have been, you know, or any other coach for that matter, would have been like, this guy's gone. Then to come back with the Lakers doing it with your 2-star players having issues and knowing about it, you know what I'm saying, and still able to win, you know, three-peat again, like you said, 3 times. So that was, it's definitely changed my opinion on Phil Jackson, and it would be absolute blasphemy to even, not to take nothing away from Pop or anybody else, but to say anybody's better.
But and then to add to your point, think about this. He did it with the Bulls and went to another franchise and three-peated again. And like, you could say he had Kobe and Shaq, but once again, he had to make them buy into his triangle offense. He had to say, hey, Kobe, I need you to kick it down low to the big fella. Hey, Shaq, I need you to feed Kobe. When they weren't seeing eye to eye off the court. Like, to me, man, today stamped it. And then the way that he related to players was like all the way over the top. Because it was like, I tweeted out, he's a real one. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you had that type of interaction, and, man, it was just like, man, nah, I got to give Phil his roses. Then on top of that, I'm like, damn. Still today, MJ and Isaiah Thomas still got smoked.
Right?
They got real beef.
Yeah. And that's what Chris was saying earlier, my bro. He was saying he think they but it could be just early in the documentary. He was like, he think they let Isaiah off the hook with not going in more into, after they lost him walking off the court. How do you feel about that? If you beat a team or if you lose or whatever, is there an expectation now? Well, I know it is now, but should you have to shake the other team's hand and be a good sport or hugs or whatever that matter?
Nah, you shouldn't have. I mean, to me, it is what it is. Like, but he was saying, like, Bird and them ain't show them love back in the
Right.
day. Bird didn't show them love, but it's like, I mean, to me, I don't see nothing. Like, at the end of the day, I don't see nothing. Like, you talk about sportsmanship, but, like, you there to do a job. You lose. Like, if you guys want to go congratulate, move on to the next, that's on them. But, like, to me, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. To me, it just showed how competitive they were. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were real competitive. They was a real rival. They didn't like each other. They still don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like they looked at each other as enemies. So, I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah, and it is what it is. And anything, I don't think I asked you this earlier, but is there anything about the doc thus far in all 4 episodes that really really surprised you that you didn't know about at all?
Man, you know what? Now, this is a thing, right? I didn't know that they had this much friction and controversy between Jordan Pippen front office, Phil Jackson front office with Jerry Strauss. But here's my thing about Jerry Strauss, right? He was a GM of a Major League Baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he was hired to be the middleman and the scapegoat by the owner. You see what I'm saying? So he was just, to me, he was almost being a puppet and the fall guy. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion, because even right now we see how the ownership of the Bulls is ran, and it still really haven't changed. Like if you just think about their history and not even getting into, a racism part of it, but think of the last time that they really hired a brother, like to be a coach and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
like that type of stuff. Then I'm looking back on this and I'm looking at Jared Cross and I'm like, I feel like he was placed in the middle to be the guy that's gonna take the fall, take the heat, and that's just what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Because when I heard the owner speak on Scottie Pippen contract situation, I was like, damn, he can't be more arrogant, right? He was arrogant as hell about it.
Right.
Like, to me, they took advantage of Scottie because they knew his situation. They knew that he needed the money. He's a young guy coming out of college. What he was, 18 million?
Yeah.
18 million is a lot of money. Back then, coming out of college, it's a lot of money, period. For somebody that came from the mud.
Right. So he go jump at that, man. And that was crazy.
Let me ask you something. So I'm watching this and it's crazy because first I thought this. To me, the Detroit Pistons is basically forced the Bulls or kind of made the Bulls become winners, if that makes sense. Like they made them better. Like they was like, you know what? We got to go hit the weight room. We got to train harder. Like Isaiah Thomas and Jordan would never give him his roses, but to me, Isaiah Thomas made Jordan a winner. He was already a winner, but I'm talking about when we go into the rings and championship conversation.
Mm-hmm. Nah, definitely. If he didn't have them, beating the hell out of him every year, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Making them say, I need to put on this weight, because that's what athletes, they do things for reasons. Like nobody just says, you know what, I'm gonna gain weight just cause. Nobody says I'm gonna lose weight just cause. But them beating up on them each year, each meeting them in the conference finals or the playoffs in general, and getting beat up like that, he knew he had to put on them pounds. And once he did, you got Scottie Pippen and everybody. Like they helped build that culture. Detroit, It's safe to say, it's safe to say Detroit built Chicago.
Right, facts. That's what it sounds like to me. But then another thing, I see people keep bringing up MJ LeBron comparison, right? And I'm like this: we would first of all, we wouldn't even have wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But we know why we having this conversation, for the simple fact that an article was put out that MJ gave the okay to drop the documentary after LeBron won his title with the Cavs in 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I felt like was kind of stirring the pot a little bit, because if you notice, 3 weeks before that, Braun was pretty excited about the documentary coming out. You know, like he had kind of said it on a podcast, like ESPN dropped it, and then all of a sudden you leak that out. It's stirring the pot, because if I'm Braun, if I'm a man, I'm a grown man, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on, what's really good? Like, why would you want why would you give the approval to drop the documentary after I win my 3rd ring in Cleveland? You see what I'm saying? Like, you could look at that sideways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I'm looking, I'm like, hold on, man. I'm looking at all factors. I'm not being biased here. You know, I was raised up on the Braun and whatever with Braun. We went same Mickey D's class, all that, right?
Yeah.
MJ is MJ. So, like, to me, this is what MJ was. Like, Magic Johnson, Kareem, all these guys were like the circus. Like, when the circus first was invented, and it first came to town, they was like the circus. But see, when Jordan came along, this motherfucker was like Disneyland and Disney World. You know what I'm saying? He brought a different type of flavor to the game of basketball. Now, with that being said, I'm like, man, hold on. So I'm looking at the documentary. I'm like, man, really, on the cool, Pippen didn't never win the MVP, but he could have been the MVP a lot of seasons. And I'm like, man, hold on. MJ was playing with another MVP type player his entire career. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Braun never really played with a player like that until kind of he got AD, and AD never won the MVP. It's not no knock on AD. I'm just speaking facts.
Right.
Braun, think about this. Besides, like, you know, an old Shaq going into his prime and a late D Rose after the injuries, Braun never really played with an MVP. You see what I'm saying? Like, he always had a Batman. I mean, a Robin. He always had a Kyrie, K-Love, those types. But D Wade never won the MVP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, when you win that MVP, when you have that accolade under your belt, that means that you were the best player in the world that year.
Right. Facts.
Braun never played with a player like that in his prime. Shaq was older, you know, on his way out. He was damn near 40. And D Rose was hurt. So I'm looking at them like, well, damn, Jordan did have Pippen throughout those title runs. And he did have Phil, who was arguably the greatest of all time. So I'm like, when that conversation comes up about who's the GOAT, and people was like, yeah, Jordan went 6-0 in the finals, I could respect that. But I also can respect that you could be on sorry teams or not good at talent or injuries. Think about it. Braun lost Kyrie and K-Love in his first finals with Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what he would be with a healthy roster. Like, we don't know that. But he didn't have one really when he was in Cleveland, except for the time when they came back down 3-1. So I'm like, this argument, man, to me, I look at it as 1A, 1B. And you could go either way, man. Like, you could look at Braun and say, I'm picking Braun because of these reasons. You could look at MJ and say, I'm picking MJ because of these reasons. Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I agree with you just about everything you said right there. But D Wade, when LeBron first got with him, Now I'm a Bron guy. I'm with you all the way. But when he first got with D Wade was an MVP caliber guy.
He was an MVP caliber guy for like, you know what I'm saying, for like about a cool year or two. Like when I say that, it was like 1 year for sure. We could say that D Wade was arguably the best player in the league, right?
Yeah, and he went crazy that year.
But after that, you can't argue. You can't argue nothing else. Like arguing in one of those seasons, you can't say that. He always been a guy that averaged 24, 25, but he take that next leap and do it. Nah, I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't roll with that. And I fuck with D Wade, but I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, you know, it's a lot of odds that's going against Braun right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, yeah, and why you think that's so? Why you think so many people are so apt to say, you know, like it was comments earlier that Jordan, no, hands down, Jordan is better than LeBron James, and they automatically say back then that era was a better quality of basketball, which I disagree. But why you think it's that way?
Man, because it's the older generation right now that's speaking. And so what end up happening is a lot of older players, they have a problem with giving younger guys their roses or even passing the torch. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, Jordan never came out. I don't think we ever heard Jordan come out and say that he was the greatest of all time. I never heard him say he was the GOAT.
Right.
People always say that about him. I never heard that. But, you know, we heard Braun say that. People heard Braun say that. When he was in the shop doing his show, he was like, see, that right there made me the greatest of all time. And people just felt some type of way about it. And that's why they started comparing Braun to MJ. But like I said before, man, it's like, when I'm looking at Braun, I'm looking at MJ, it's 1A, 1B. It depends on what you want.
Yeah. Nah, same here. I just got through talking to my boy about that. I was like, I feel like it has to be 1A, 1B when we ain't got no sports right now. We ain't got nothing to talk about but this documentary. And that's all we talking about. But the only other player name that keep popping up is LeBron James. So and he's not even playing right now.
But you know why, right?
1A, 1B.
The 1A, 1B. When you think about the Bulls documentary, you think about MJ and all the Bulls players, and then the next person come to mind. The next person come to everybody's mind is Braun. Because you know why? The people that's not really Braun fans, they hear them footsteps.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
MJ too. That's why he decided. That's why he said, you know what? I'm gonna drop this documentary, and he did it on that day, the day that Braun won the NBA championship. Right. That's just what it is, man. But you know, you can't go wrong with either one. And I just don't be liking when people be like, oh, it's MJ hands down. Like, nah, man, there's some points to be argued here.
Yeah, for sure. And some people who don't really pay attention, don't really know basketball or whatever, they say, oh, Kendrick Perkins, he played with LeBron, that's why he feel this way or whatever, whatnot. And it's, you know, people that really know, they know it's coming from you didn't call LeBron out before. It ain't like you just, sucking up. You ain't got no reason to suck up to him.
Nah, I done been in, man, we done battled it out. Like, in Eastern Conference Finals to go to the finals. Like, you know, like when I was on the Celtics, like he was on Cleveland. We didn't mess with him. Yeah. He didn't mess with us. Like, I don't have no reason to be biased. Like, me being biased towards Braun, what does that get me? I'm employed by ESPN. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting no check for hyping up Braun, but I'm keeping it in the book. I know my last couple of years in Cleveland, I was on that bench and I had front row seats to watching him. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I watched him take a team to the finals and dominate I watched them take a team to the finals and dominate the Toronto Raptors single-handedly, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I watched this man going to Game 7 in the Boston Garden when the Celtics had us down there last year in Cleveland, and he handled his business. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the Indiana Pacers first round. Like, I thought that is what, like, you know, in my opinion, separated LeBron right there. Like, even though he didn't win it, and I get tired of like people saying championships define a NBA player's legacy. Nah, it shouldn't hurt it shouldn't hurt a player legacy. But if they win the championship, it should help them. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is not an individual sport like boxing or tennis. Like, where you have to win championships to define your legacy. Like, what LeBron is going to do, man, he's probably going to end up 35,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. Like, think about it, man. Dude won athlete decade of the year. Not in the NBA of the year. This is with Tom Brady, still Floyd Mayweather fighting during this time. Like, I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Nah, that's all facts, man. Hey, Perk, I ain't gonna keep you too much long, man. I'm gonna let you get out of here, man. I hope one day I can get you on my podcast, and I like thank you for jumping on and spitting some facts with me.
Hey, just hit C. Haynes, man. He got my number. He'll pass it along to you.
Okay, yes, sir, man. Right. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.